feeling that itch on your left hand, that means that money's coming. So hopefully, if I win the lotto, you guys, we're going to Disneyland, okay? All expenses paid by Miss Nieto. Taking all my classes to Disneyland if I win the lotto. All right? You don't believe me, do you? I follow through on my word, so hopefully it'll be done before you graduate, okay? All right. Okay. Ready? Okay. Good morning.
Good morning. Morning.
Good morning. Okay. This lesson this morning we're going to talk about crepes. Okay. And when I say the word crepe, what comes into your mind?
Pancakes.
Pancakes. Okay. Pancakes. Now, where do you think that the crepes come from, or how did they originate? France. Okay. France is actually the country that began to promote the crepe. Okay, it started way earlier in the 1700s. Okay, 1800, actually 1700s. All right, and only the affluent and only the rich, like King Henry, would be the only one that would be served this particular type of dish, because it was considered to be made with ingredients such as flour. That back then the flour was very expensive. So the crepes began to be served at special parties, special events, okay, and that's where it all began. Okay, it began in France. If you go to Germany, they have something similar. The only difference is that in Germany, their pancakes, as we call them in America, are a thin, super thin pancake, and they're a lot bigger. If you go to Sweden, they're pretty much the same idea, but they're served different. So they come and they are served with different toppings. Okay. So this morning what we're going to learn, we're going to make crepes, because our lab tomorrow, you're all going to break into your sessions. And after you watch demo, hopefully you can take what you learn and apply it into your learning skills and your learning for the lab tomorrow. So we start with our basic mise en place, which we have on our little tray. As you all know, we have all the items that we need for that recipe. Okay, we have eggs, flour, we have our milk, and we have sugar and kosher salt. Okay. Now on this side, on my left side, I have toppings. Now when you make crepes, the type of crepes that we're making tomorrow are sweet crepes, which means we're going to add different kinds of toppings. We can add blackberry preserves here. I have some bananas. I have peanut butter. Okay, I have strawberry preserves. I have Nutella. Okay, I have whipped cream and syrup, and I also have powdered sugar. Okay, so this is just some of the ingredients that we can use as toppings. So if I were to ask you, what other ingredients do you think you could add into your crepes, what would you come up with?
Fruit.
Fruit. Ice cream. What else?
Meat.
Meat. We'll talk about meat in a moment. Crepes with meat. What else? Chicken. Okay. Right now, what we're gonna do for what I'm doing for the demo, and what you're gonna be preparing tomorrow, we're gonna make sweet crepes. Okay, what you're talking about, those of you that brought up those words, meat, chicken, okay, you're talking about savory crepes, okay? And it's the same idea, we're applying the same batter, but when you want to make savory crepes, you're going to use items like protein, you know, meat, chicken, you can use shrimp, okay, you can use cheese, you can use ham, herbs, you can use a lot of different things to making savory crepes. These are ones that are heartier, and they have salt and they have cream in addition to the meat and the proteins. Okay, very good. So we're not going to make savory crepes this week. That may be another unit, another session, but we are going to make the sweet crepes. Okay, so basically the main ingredient or the main tool used for making crepes is a good Teflon pan. Okay, all right. If you try to use a pan that's stainless steel, it's not going to work, because the batter is going to what? Stick. The Teflon helps to what? Non-stick. It helps to remove the items. So the best thing to do or to use for this particular lesson or for this particular lab is to use a Teflon pan. Okay, so we're using a 9-inch Teflon pan. Okay, and you need a couple of good spatulas, because this is going to help you turn your crepes when they're ready. Okay. And basically, once you put your ingredients together, you're going to end up with a batter that looks like this, okay? Nice and smooth. Okay, we're going to liquefy it in the blender. And then once it's liquefied, you end up with a product that looks like this, okay? So you start with about a teaspoon of butter or less, or you can use any kind of fat like margarine or oil, okay? But in the batter we already have a little bit of fat, and the fat's gonna help to release the pancake when you turn it, okay? So now I'm gonna put a little bit of the batter into the pan. And here's a trick. Start from the center, and what you do is you quickly swirl the batter, making a circular pancake, okay? Because that's what you want to end up with. Now, a lot of times, the very first time that you make crepes, usually the very first time, it's the first crepe is not going to come out right. It comes out either all oblong or it breaks, and you know, it's okay because right now you're giving time to your pan to get adjusted to the temperature and the heat. And you know, the Teflon is trying to do its work, which it's helping to release the batter. And then once the pan has accumulated the perfect amount of heat, then you will be able to make a crepe that's nice and round and eventually to perfection. Okay, so you use a spatula, and with the spatula you gently just lift the sides. Okay, it's only a matter of, I would say, 1-2 minutes on each side. Okay, and you will start with the temperature between low and medium heat. Okay, so you're gonna have to play around with your temperature as far as when, you know, how hot the pan should be. Okay, if you put the heat on too high, the crepe's gonna burn. If you put it on too low, the crepe's not gonna cook in enough time. Okay, so I would say low to medium heat is good. Okay, and gently with the spatula you release the sides. Sometimes once the crepe has been cooked from the bottom, it releases, which is, we still have a little bit of time. And another way of telling when you are ready to turn the crepe over is you start seeing like little bubbles in the center of the crepe. Okay, so take my crepe and I'm gonna flip it over. Okay, again, like I told you, usually the first one, it's not as perfect, but once you get that pan to the right temperature, once you have the right proportion poured into the pan, then it's going to start looking like a round circle, like this one right here. Okay, so I'm going to put that right there for now. How many of you here have never tasted crepes before? Never. Okay. Your first experience, okay? Good. Okay. I personally like to have them a little bit on the brown side. There's a lot of people that prefer not to have them that brown. It's a matter of taste, okay? All right, so do one more because I'm gonna put them together with fillings. I'm gonna set them up. More. And now if you have extra batter, okay, you could always put it back there, because the goal of the crepe is to have a nice thin pancake. Okay, just leave it there, let it cook. Now meanwhile, while that's happening, I'm going to go ahead and start filling them out with, or actually stuffing them with different kinds of fillings. If you have frozen peaches from the freezer, you can thaw them out and toss them with a little sugar and add peaches to it. You can do the same thing with strawberries or blueberries or blackberries. Or when it's strawberry season, you could just buy a whole bunch of strawberries, you know, cut them in half, quarter them, add a little bit of sugar, a little bit of chopped mint, maybe some bananas, okay? You could do mangoes. I mean, you could do so many different fruits into your crepes that will make these taste delicious. Okay, so take my plate, and then I'm gonna, let's say that I want to put strawberry in one of them. I'm gonna use strawberry preserves. Okay, or maybe I want to put Nutella. How many of you have never tried Nutella? Oh my God. How many of you do not know what Nutella is? Can any of my students tell me what Nutella is, if you know what it is? It's a spread made out of what? Hazelnut and? And it's what? It's awesome. If you haven't had it, you must. Okay? See how easy the crepe is released once it's cooked? See, all I have to do is just mix it a little bit. Okay? So, I personally like to fill them into, roll them up. Actually. And I think I'm going to do blackberry preserves for this one. Over. Okay. Now the fun part for me is when you start decorating them. I make these on the weekends sometimes for my family for breakfast, and when I call my sisters or my brothers and I tell them, hey, I'm making crepes, it's like they don't even, I don't think they even finish hanging up the phone when they're knocking on the door, because they love how I make crepes. So basically, you put whatever topping you want. Usually I use fresh fruit, okay? I put a little bit of powdered sugar. Okay, I like to add a little bit of syrup sometimes. Okay, a little bit of syrup right there. Okay. Bananas. Okay, and more powdered sugar. Woo. And I like to add a little bit of whipped cream. Okay. Okay. And I like to add a little bit of preserves on top as well. Okay. You know, the varieties, whatever you can add as far as fruit is the best, you know. I mean, you could do whatever you want. Sometimes I have mint or fresh herbs, and I like to decorate. We don't have mint today, but use your imagination. Okay. So this is pretty much a basic, simple dish. Okay. You saw how quickly I made it, right? Okay. You can make this at home. Now the thing with crepes is that once you end up with extras, you can actually put them on a plate, wrap them tightly with plastic wrap, and they will last in the refrigerator up to a week. Okay? So again, when my nieces and nephews come and visit and I have extra crepes, you know, they're always, you know, asking me if they can take the extras because they use them during the week, and you know, they keep really well. And the same batter that you're making today can be used for making the sweet crepes, which is what I demonstrated today, and you can use the same batter to also make the savory crepes. Okay? So, are there any questions, or are we ready to continue our food preparation with crepes? Okay, good job. Thank you. All right, we ready to taste? Yeah. Yeah, all right, let's taste some crepes. Come on.